Hello, my name is Megan and I am a third year PhD student in the 3-5 Materials and Devices group in IPIC. And today I'm going to be showing you what a typical day in the lab would look like. So today I'll be showing you how to obtain the Li curve of a laser. So this is the current applied to the laser plotted against the output light intensity. So the two key results we want to obtain from this curve is the threshold current, which is the current value that the laser starts to laser at, and the slope efficiency. So this is my sample box, and inside you can see two bars of different widths. So the widths of these bars are the cavity length of the laser. So if you recall, varying the cavity length can affect the performance of the laser. For example, shorter cavity lengths would lead to a larger gain. So if we take a closer look, we can see that the bars are separated up into segments. So in reality, we actually put many lasing devices on each bar. This is a setup here that we're going to be using to record both the Li and the spectra of the laser. So as you can see here, these are two probes, and these are used to make the electrical connections from the current or voltage source to the laser. Right in front of me here then is the stage that the laser is placed on, and you can see some connections coming out of the stage. So this is to control the temperature of the stage. So the temperature dependence on the laser's performance is critical. Generally, people want lasers to be operating up to at least 80 degrees. But for the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to test the laser at room temperature, so roughly 20 degrees. This is a tech controller here, so this controls the temperature of the stage. So for this measurement, we just want it at 20 degrees, so roughly room temperature. So I have my set point here to 20 degrees. So I turn this on, and now the tech tries to reach the set point here. It's extremely difficult to see where exactly I am probing on the laser. So generally, we would actually use a microscope camera. So this is the microscope camera here. As you can see by the light, it is turned on. And if I zoom in here, I have different magnification factors on the microscope camera. We use a lens for recording the Li and spectra of a laser. So this is just to collect the light from the laser to be focused onto the photodetector. So you can see here that the lens is placed kind of sideways to the laser, and this is because it's attached to this XYZ stage here. So you can see my three controls here. So it's really, really important that the lens is correctly aligned to the laser in order to collect as much light as possible. So this is a photodetector that I'm currently holding in my hand, and you can see that in the middle there's this kind of gold square. So this is the actual photodetector. So not the black part that surrounds it, but instead this square. This square is the only part that absorbs the light. So because of the size of the photodetector, the actual photodetecting part, that means then that the light that is being collected by the lens must be properly aligned to this very small region. So you want the photodetector to be able to detect the light that is being emitted by your laser. So that means you want a photodetector that is able to absorb the wavelength of the light of your laser. So depending on the laser wavelength, the photodetector is made out of different semiconductor materials. In this case, the photodetector that I'm holding here is made out of germanium. So this germanium photodetector can absorb wavelengths from 780 nanometer to 1800 nanometers. So that means I can use this for any experiment that emits light in that wavelength range. Because the device we're testing for this video is actually emitting at a wavelength of 633 nanometers, that means we have to use a different photodetector to the germanium one. So this is a silicon photodetector. It absorbs wavelengths between 400 to 1100 nanometers. And you may notice that the silicon photodetector is noticeably larger than the germanium photodetector. This is just because silicon is cheaper. So this is my laser bar on the computer screen, and you can see the probe tip, kind of the gold blurry image here, just hovering over the bar. And I'm going to probe one of the gold sections on this laser bar here. So that's the metal contact on the laser. So I'll just move my probe over. So this can be quite tedious, I say. I'm just moving my probe now, and I'm going to try and place the tip of it. I'll have to move it a little bit forward. So it'll be quite hard to tell where it's actually going down. So now I know that's probed because as the probe touched the pad, the laser bar kind of moved. So that should be probed now, and the device should be ready to be tested. So this is the Keithy. This is the current source for the device. So I have about 30 milliamps of current injected in the device now, and you can very clearly see the light being emitted from the device. So this is a visible light device, so that's why I can see the light. If this was an infrared device, I would not be able to see the light emitted, and I'd have to use a special card to detect the light in the dark. So just to note as well, I'm wearing goggles while testing as well. So laser safety is extremely important when testing devices. And if I go to my computer screen here, you can see the device has lit up when being probed. This is the power meter, so this is recording the power of the laser. So the photodetector that I'm using for this experiment is connected to the back of this power meter. And you can see that the readings is going crazy because I'm moving the detector around, so it's picking up light from the room. So I'll just put it back here. So it's calmed down a bit. And you can set it up then for different wavelengths. So it's got its own custom wavelengths here. Now I'm going to try and adjust the lens to the photodetector to try and collect the light emitted. And as I'm changing the stage, you can see that the power meter is changing. So you want to try and maximize it in all directions to try and get as much light as possible collected. To obtain our results from the experiment, we use LabVIEW programming. So here, for example, is a LabVIEW program for obtaining the LIV characteristics of the laser. So this program has the ability to take directly the measurements from both the Keithley and the power meter and plot it up instantly. So this makes the experiment automated. Otherwise, we would have to do it by hand, which would be incredibly slow. Both the lens and the photodetector now are aligned to the light coming out from the laser. So now we are ready to run our LabVIEW program to try and record the LIV of the laser. This is the LI results plotted up in Excel from LabVIEW. So if we take a look down here, we could see that the threshold current, or the current where the laser starts to laze, is about 15 milliamps. The slope efficiency then is obtained from the section where the device is lasing. So we get a slope of about 0.04 watts per amp for one facet. So for both facets of the laser, this would be 0.08 watts per amp. So this is a bit on the low side. On average, a laser would be about 0.3 watts per amp. So that's it for me for a day in the lab. If you have any questions, just ask away. And thank you for watching and listening to this presentation.